Dzień dobry. Maciej Skorża wygrał Azjatycką Ligę Mistrzów z zespołem Urawa Red Diamonds. To już wie każdy. Ale jak Japończycy postrzegają ten sukces? Jak odbierają Macieja Skorżę? Ile może dać mu ten triumf? I co jeszcze musiałby osiągnąć Maciej Skorża, żeby jeszcze bardziej zapisać się właśnie w historii tego klubu? Ile znaczy Maciej Skorża w Japonii? Ile znaczy na azjatyckim rynku? I czy może otworzyć drzwi do Ligi Japońskiej innym polskim trenerom? O tym będzie ten odcinek, ale to nie będzie zwykły odcinek. To będzie rozmowa ze specjalistą od japońskiej piłki, czyli z Arashim Higakim, moim znajomym, który współpracuje z FIFA.com i naprawdę zna się kapitalnie na japońskiej piłce.
So first of all, Arashi, what does it mean to Urawa Red Diamonds to win the Asian Champions League?
I think it's a very like a huge success, huge achievement for them, and also the fact that they lost against Al Hilal in 2019, which makes it more successful because they lost against them in the final in 2019. So they kind of do it's kind of harsh word, but achieve the revenge against them. So yeah, by all means, this Champions League, Asian Champions League, it has a huge significant meaning for them. So it is a huge success.
What did the press and supporters of Urawa Red Diamonds and in general Japanese football say after that victory?
Before the match, I think most of the people, in all honesty, Al Hilal, they thought Al Hilal will win because they are the stronger side. And, like Urawa Reds, as you can see from the two games in the final, they fought mostly defensively, and all of the possession were taken by Al Hilal. But after all, they won 2-1 aggregation. And yeah, so that was really surprising. And I think many people were impressed by the result. So again, it's a huge success and great job done by the team and Skorża. And the fact that Skorża led the team only in the final, I think most of the successful work has done by the previous manager, Ricardo Rodriguez. So in terms of, as I said, he will definitely be remembered as the winning coach of the Champions League, but still he has lots of things to do, I think.
What do the Japanese supporters and press media think about this kind of defensive style of playing? Because in Polish football, we recently had that discussion after World Cup about how we should treat the national team that played really very defensively. We can check the statistics also of Urawa Red Diamonds, and we can see that Maciej Skorża seems to be a very pragmatic coach. So what do the Japanese fans think about this kind of playing? And do they expect Skorża, for example, to implement more offensive football in future?
I think the Japanese fan, at the end of the day, they won't care because it's a cup final, and if they win the league, if they win the title, that's all that matters. So even if they play defensively, if they could win the trophy, that doesn't really matter. But as Skorża and Hiroki Sakai, the captain of Urawa Reds, said after the match, they want to play. It was definitely not their style they want to play, the football they wanted to play. Skorża actually mentioned that he would be happy if we could score 3 or 4 or 5 goals against them. But thinking realistically, it's not it's impossible to do that against Al Hilal, the good side. So the Japanese fans are not upset about that. I can say, even if they play defensively, the result is all that matters. But in the future, they probably want to play more offensively and score more goals.
What is it like to work for Urawa Red Diamonds as a coach? How would you describe this kind of pressure? Because I also read that they have the biggest fan base in Japan, so I imagine that the pressure is really high. But how would you compare it, for example, to European football? I mean, you can't compare Asian football to European football, of course, but for example, this kind of pressure, what would you say about it?
I think the pressure is immense. Like Urawa Reds, it's a special one of the special club in Japan. Not only in Japan, but maybe in Asia. Their fan base is really huge, and they're like really enthusiastic. I think even if you compare to the European football, their fan base is like really massive. The fan is really expecting the title, especially this Asian Champions League. It's kind of, how do you describe, like it's kind of like their pride, you know. So I think the expectation is really, 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 you know, high.
And when it comes to expectations, how would you compare, for example, the need to win the J League for Maciej Skorża and the Asian Champions League? What's the most important thing, for example, for the supporters of Urawa Red Diamonds and also for the club's officials?
Different story, to be honest. They haven't won the league title since 2006. I think they are really desperate to win the league title, and so far they're doing kind of great job. They're still in a position to win the title. If they could, you know, keep this momentum, I think they have a chance to win the league title. And the expectation is, again, the fan expectation is toward the league title. I think the first 1 or 2, 3 games they didn't win, so the criticism was like happening around him. But after that 3 games, I think they're doing a great job. So if you look at the squad, they have, I won't say like the greatest chance, but potentially they could win if they keep this momentum and keep this great job.
Was it a surprise for you as a journalist and also for the Urawa Red Diamond supporters when Maciej Skorża was hired as a coach? Because for us, it was really a huge surprise.
Yeah, bit of surprise because, as I mentioned earlier, Ricardo Rodriguez, the previous manager, was doing not a bad job. They led them to the ACL champion, the final. And since he couldn't win the league title, I think he was 5th or 6th last year. I don't remember quite, but that's the reason he was sacked. But apart from that, I think he was doing, not a bad performance. But then they bring in a new manager, Skorża. So personally, it was a bit surprising for me, in a good way, of course. So because he didn't have a lot of experience in outside of Poland, right?
Exactly.
So, we were kind of seeing what kind of football he's going to bring in and what kind of positive influence he's going to bring in. And so far he's doing all right. So hopefully he can keep this momentum.
Skorża used to work in Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates. Can we say that when you enter this Asian market, it's difficult to get out of this market if you're doing a good job? Can we see, for example, the work of Skorża as a perspective to stay in this market? For example, he can do a great job in Urawa Red Diamonds, then he can get an offer, for example, to work as a national team coach in Asia, or then go back to Saudi Arabia, Qatar. What do you think about this kind of movement between the countries in the market for a coach?
Potentially. There's a great chance if he could do a great job in Urawa Red Diamonds. Let's say if we can win the title, like the league title or cup league title. I mean, he already won the Asia Champions League, so that's already a huge success. But if he could win another title, then obviously the evaluation will get more higher, and then I won't say he will be called up for a national team coach, because the national team coach and the club team coach is a bit different. But if he doing his great job right now, I think there's a possibility he can be called up for other prestigious team in Asia.
And what could happen if he didn't win the J League, or if he didn't get good results in the near future? Would there be such a high pressure, for example, to sack him?
Speaking about this season, I don't think he will be sacked, even if he, unless he gets into like a relegation zone or something even if, even if he doesn't win the league title,
doesn't seem likely.
Yeah. But let's say if he doesn't win any title in next 2-3 season and the results in the league is not going well, then as you can see from the previous examples, there might be, but so far I don't think he will be sacked because he is seen as a great manager so far in Japan.
And what do the supporters and the press, what do you think about Maciej Skorża, not only as a coach when it comes to the pitch, but also as a person?
He's only taken Urawa Reds for, he starts this February and it's only like 3 months. So there's not much, assessment going on so far. But as far as I can see, among the fans, I think his personality is being really being favored by lots of fans. So his attitude and his, he's still kind of adapting himself in the Japanese football. So I think he still needs a time to get his potential 100%. But at least his personality is really favored by Japanese fans.
How many foreign coaches got promoted from the J League, for example, to top 5 leagues in Europe? Is it possible, in your opinion, for example, to do a great job in Urawa Red Diamonds right now and then get an offer, for example, from France? I don't know.
As long as I can see, the only example is Arsene Wenger, which was
that happened long time ago, really.
Very long time ago. And recently, I don't see any coach promoted to the top 5 top 5 European clubs. I will say that's a bit difficult, even if you do a great job, unless you do kind of treble. You know what I'm saying. So treble in domestic league, and then you win the ACL again. Then
that would mean something.
Yeah, that will mean something else. But I think just winning the domestic title won't, impress at least the top 5 European clubs. Really? Okay. Oh, that's impressive. I mean, yeah, I think he's honestly, he's doing a great job. Just personally, I'm not a Urawa Reds fan, so yeah. Hopefully, I'm a Kawasaki Frontale fan, so
Okay, but you are a Kawasaki Frontale fan, but do you think, for example, that if Maciej Skorża does a great job in Japan, is it possible, for example, that the other Japanese clubs get interested in other Polish coaches? Or they don't work that way?
I think they do. They do. If he does a great job, the J League clubs will get interested in the Polish coach market, and will do, of course, a research. But I will say there is two barriers. First, you have to adapt to the Japanese, football culture, and the second is the language barrier. Obviously, I mean, there will be a translator, of course, but I see a lot of foreign coaches coming to Japan and struggles to.
But what is so difficult, for example, when it comes to adapting to the football culture in Japan? What do you have to do to get adapted?
Well, I think the relationship between the coach and the players is a bit different from the European football. I think it's just. Well, of course, it depends on the coach's style, but let's say the coach in Europe is more. How do you say?
You have to be more open, or maybe, I don't know, more disciplined. How would you describe the perfect way of working for a coach in J League?
You have to be disciplined, rather than. So I think it's hard to describe, but yeah.
For example, if my friend who is a coach got an offer from J League and he would ask me, what should I do in the beginning? What should I avoid, for example? Then what should I tell him?
In general, of course, like you should be open and communicate with the players a lot and tell what you want, what you exactly want to do, what you exactly want to attempt. But I think it's in terms of like language, just personally, it's really like, for example, English and Japanese are so much different. So in terms of communication, even if you try to like tell this thing in 100% way in Japanese, it depends on the translator's skill maybe, but he will only understand 50%, and that will kind of make a misunderstanding or miscommunication. You know what I'm saying? It's just learn how to do a better communication with the Asian and Japanese. That's
Okay,
I think,
so
yeah.
Okay, so if you need a list of Polish coaches in future to hire in Kawasaki Frontale, I can help you.
Oh
If
yeah,
Maciej Skorża does a great job, if he
yeah.
continues
That would be
doing a
appreciated.
great
I
job.
mean, I don't have any, anyone who knows in Kawasaki right now. I'm just like, personally, I'm just a fan. So, but yeah, that would be really great if you can
Okay.
let me know.
Okay, so thank you very much, Arashi, once again for the
All right.
conversation. It's been a
Yeah.
pleasure.
No worries. Anytime. Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.